Good morning, everybody. Grace and peace to you from our Lord Jesus Christ and all the saints here in Central California. I'm feeling good this week. I'm going on vacation. So I only work 2 days this week, Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll be taking a week off vacation. So I'm not really doing a whole lot this week. I'm not really wanting to change anything because I'm going to be gone for most of the week and over the weekend. And my boss is on call and she doesn't want to get called on something she doesn't know what I did. So I'm not going to make any changes. So this week I've just been focusing on documentation, which I do every once in a while. When we implement something new, like a new project, I try to document it as I go along. But there's a few things that I do, like they're not really mundane, but they're tasks that aren't really associated with a project. And sometimes I have to study again, say, oh, how did I do that last time? So I'm really big on trying to write up documentation so that I can go back and look at that and say, oh, yeah, that's what I did. I also have a network changes document that I've kept for every year that I've been here. So starting back in 2016, I had a network changes document for every year, and every change I would copy and paste it and put it in that document. So, and my boss liked the idea, so she keeps it up to date. That's on top of our change management stuff we have going. So I can always go back to that and refer to it and see, okay, how did I make this? How did I do that before? But going back through and looking for it 3 years ago in those documents can be kind of hard. So I like to create documents of how to do different things. And I'm going to share my screen in just a second here as soon as I make sure I'm in the right folder. Looks like I am. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's just share the whole thing. Boom. So yeah. So to keep myself honest, I have this we have this share out here called infrastructure. And I'm in the infrastructure group, so that's where we keep all of our stuff, is here in the infrastructure. And you can see we've got different folders for different things that I have had to work with, upgrading CCE4TS terminal servers. Believe it or not, that's a DEC terminal server. Yeah, they still use those. I've got, some things for how we do some of the phones around here, resetting them. I don't reset DX70 phones very often. I don't deal with them very often, so I need to I need to write these steps down. I'm not going to show you inside that document because there's passwords and I know network specific stuff. My Intermapper product that I use for monitoring the network. The only thing I have to remind myself periodically is something you don't do every day is move it to a new server. What do you have to do to move it to a new server? Turns out that's really easy, but I forget that every time, so I have to remind myself. So one that I was working on yesterday was here in my Extreme Switches folder. I don't have a whole lot here. Well, I got more there than anywhere else, but I'm going to be adding more to this. So I added 2 documents to this yesterday, one of which was setting up a layer 3 on our fabric switches, because it's different. We have 4 core switches, and 2 of the setups are different than 2 of the others. Setups on 2 switches that's where the layer 3 are. The other 2 core switches are just layer 2. So the setup is different when you create a new VLAN. So I created some notes on that. And so one I was just working on yesterday was adding another switch to a fabric. So that's another thing. We don't put in a new switch every day. So, I mean, I know what to do, or at least I did at one time, and I forget over time. So I went ahead and created this document over here that you see, hopefully. And I like to use you know, use the headings and everything else, because that way I can say, okay, well, I just can't remember how to label the ports. So you can click on that and it'll take you right to, you know, where you actually label the ports and, you know, so yeah, it's that's the way I do it. Basically, I break down all the commands, you know, just generic. Here's what you need to do. And then farther down, I'll have an example, which I'm not going to go down deep into that example because it's going to show you the insides of my network, and I don't want to do that. Most of you, I don't care if you see it, but there's some of you out there that you're just either jealous or plain evil. People want to mess things up. You know how some people are. They want to show me how smart they are, and I know I get it, you guys. You are all smarter than me. You don't need to prove anything, please. I'm just incredibly lucky and blessed by God to get where I am. So anyway, I put all the regular, just generic commands up here, and then I'll add an example, which is probably another 2 or 3 pages down below on setting up the actual config. And let me tell you, when you're doing this documentation, screenshots are your friend. If you don't know how to do a screenshot, I'll show you. But they are very much your friend. Like, see here, this one's pretty innocuous. Upgrading Pan OS, which would be the firewall, our firewall. Is I'll go through and I'll take snapshots of the dialog boxes and pop them in there so I know what I'm looking for, you know, and the next guy, you know, how does he do it? What's he got to look for? So learn how to do screenshots. They are your friend. And if you don't know how to do a screenshot, which I'm sure not everybody does, a lot of people just starting out. Let's say I wanted to do, where can I go for this? Well, I'll just do it right here on this. I'll just use this document as an example. So I'm going to hit the Windows key on my Windows system. I got Windows, what do I got? Windows 11, I think. So you'd hit the Windows key. In Linux, they'll call it the super key. Windows key, Shift, and then the letter S. Did I do that right? Yep, I did it right. So I don't know what it's going to look like for you, but for me, it dimmed and it's given me some options of different ways. I can grab a window, I can grab a rectangle area, or I can grab an odd-shaped area, or the entire screen. So I'm just going to leave it right here, this little rectangular mode. I really don't know if you guys can see that, but we'll do it. And I'm just going to grab this little area right here. And boom, it's going to grab that, and it's going to pop up here somewhere. Maybe not. Let's see. Usually it pops up so I can edit it, but it was incredibly slow to start up. So let me open a new Word window and see if I got it. Blank document. Yeah, I did. So this is just all graphics here. You can't edit it. It's just a picture. But if it had been like a picture of a GUI interface for some device, you can grab that and put it in there. Like I said, usually the edit window will pop up, and then there's a few tools you can use to edit it. Like you can highlight different lines and, you know, draw arrows and things like that, which I was not able to do for some reason. Let me try one more time just to see if I messed something up here. Let's do this again. Yeah, it might be Zoom is interfering with it because it's reacting really slowly. Let's see if it pops up again. Pops up somewhere. Nah, I think it's because Zoom's running or something. Because usually it'll pop up a little window in the lower corner. You can click on that and then you can mark it up and then copy it again and paste it into your document. So anyway, Windows Shift S, and you can grab screen grabs of your documentation or whatever it is you're working on. let's see if there's another one I can show you. I don't think there is. I know for this guy, when I'm talking about adding a new edge switch to Fabric, I keep talking about the, creating LACP and MLTs and SMLTs, and just using words to describe it is kind of rough. So I was going to create this little Visio document here to talk about the two core switches and how you're connected up. This is basically how we do connect every one of our edge switches. So there'll be from the edge switches point of view, we're just setting up a couple of shared ports, 4 of them, and using LACP. And they're going to go back to the core switch. We're going to set up an MLT for this guy and MLT for these two guys here. And then across all 4 of these, we're going to set up an SMLT, which is a spanned multi-link trunk. And that way we've got high speed, first of all, 40 gig from the switch back to the core. And we've got redundancy. So we can lose up to 3 paths and we're still good. So yeah, LACP on this end, MLT on this end, SMLT over the whole deal. And that's what I was going to put in this document and label it in as kind of a memory mnemonic for how that all works. So anyway, that's about all I got on documentation. You know what? There's one more thing I'll show you. Let me get it set up before I show it to you though, because I don't want to show you all the internals of our network. Let's see. Let's do that. Rack layouts. I'm gonna pull this spreadsheet up and make sure I've got it set right. Okay, I do. Okay, I'll share it one more time. This is another way to really, somebody else figured this out. I didn't. I just stole the idea blatantly. Sorry, I'm looking for Zoom again. Zoom has disappeared. There you are. There you are. And I'll share my screen again. There we go. So at my last job, we used to diagram all of our racks, and we just use Excel. Use Excel to manage to, block it all out. So you just draw out how many units your rack is high. We all know they're 19 inches wide. And then we'll just go ahead and throw in the devices that are racked in that space. So you can see in rack number 1, we've got a whole bunch of cable management up there and fiber patches and things like that. And we've got a couple of ISPs have their routers here, Comcast and Comcast again. And then these purple switches are my Extreme. And we've got more cable management, another core switch. Core switch 1 is here, core switch 2 is there. And so yeah. And anyway, that's how we will kind of map out what we got in there, so pretty ingenious way to do it, I thought. So I just brought it with me. So you just pop it in there and you know exactly how much space you got in your rack. So anyway, I thought thought I'd share that one with you too. Somebody, I think in a previous comment, one of my other videos had asked about using Excel to document things. And yeah, I use Excel quite extensively for project management, and as you can see, for documenting racks. And as you could see along the bottom of the spreadsheet, there were a bunch of tabs for a lot of different closets out there. So my goal was to have a spreadsheet tab for each closet we have out there. And it just kind of fell by the wayside. I'll probably finish it before I retire. But yeah, we've got about 38 closets out there, so it'll take time. I could probably get it all done in a week, but so much other stuff pops up, like vacations. So as I said, I'm going to be on vacation this week. So when this video comes out, I will be up near Mount Lassen in Northern California. Just enjoying a little getaway with my wife, and and meeting with some friends that I haven't met yet. So we're gonna enjoy that. So that's all I got for this week, guys. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell if you want to be noticed or you want to be notified. If you want to notice that I put out a new video, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Either way, it's okay. Keep the negative comments to yourself, and constructive comments, please send them out. Even constructive criticism, I don't mind that, as long as it's constructive. And remember to pray for each other. Pray for our nation, our world, everybody. We all need the prayer. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you all. We'll see you next week. Yeah. God bless everybody. Stop.